Welcome back. We are going to talk about the vowel team IE. Now I know we've already talked about it, but I felt it just needed a little bit more work on it so you could understand when it's a vowel team, what sounds it makes. And so it does say E or I, but we're going to focus on when you can understand what it is. So let's look at this word, and we're going to break it apart first off, okay? So let's find our vowels. We're going to find our vowels. Now oh look, that looks like a vowel team. So let's just keep it together. I'm just going to show you how different ways that maybe you can break up a word. So there's two in the middle, so we're going to go A-N-X-I-E. We're going to keep it together. So now look, that's the vowel team. So here's our other vowel. There's one in the middle, and we're going to go T-Y. Okay? Now let's try to read it. Anxiety. That doesn't sound right. So let's break it apart. A-N-X-I. Now this becomes its very own syllable. See, you're going to dot those two syllables for that. And then we're going to go T-Y. So, as I taught you in the past, I followed by a vowel will say E. So let's try it. Anxiety. Anxiety. So if that doesn't work, anxiety. Anxiety. So I'm guessing that this one is saying I because it's the accented syllable. Look, 1, 2, 3. So if it's not following the spelling rule and the reading rule, switch this to an I, okay? So that says anxiety. Let's try this word. We're gonna dot our vowels, and let's keep our vowel team together. We're like, oh, I think that's a vowel team. So we have one in the middle. Now remember, this looks like it's a vowel R syllable, the AR right here, but look, this is a vowel. So if you have a vowel here, most of the time that gets trumped. That vowel R gets trumped. And so it's no longer a vowel R. So we're going to break it, and it's going to come to the end. So we're going to go V-A-R-I-E. Let's keep our vowel team together. And then we have, look, there's one T in the middle, and we're going to go T-Y. So now let's read it. Variety. Never heard of that. So let's break the IE, and variety still doesn't make sense. Variety. So play with your words. Don't give up on the word. Just play with it to see if you can make it sound, because you've heard this word. I want a variety of fruits in my diet. So you've heard of the word, just play with it. Sometimes you haven't heard of the word, so you're gonna just have to kind of go with the way you've been taught how to decode words. Anyway, so let's go to this word, okay? Look, double R's. We know it's gonna break right down the middle, okay? So we have C-A-R, and then let's look at this. Look, there's a suffix right here. Now, play with the suffixes. Right here, I'm going to say, oh, it's a suffix. It's probably its very own syllable. Oftentimes that happens. So I'm going to keep it as its very own syllable, okay? So we're going to go R-I, because these ones will break because I'm keeping it this as its own syllable. And then we're going to go, look at that. So now we talked about it in our last lesson. If you have an ARR or an ERR, that AR or an ER will say air. This R, for some reason, switches this and it says air. So this says carrier, carrier, okay? Now let's look at this word. This says skies, and we have a base word in there. Okay, so we have a base word. Now, this is the rule when you're adding on your suffix. Change the Y to I and add on your vowel suffix. We're going to change the Y to I and add your ES to make that plural. Now this became a vowel team in this word, and it says sky, more than one skies. More than one sky. Okay, now this the same way. And often, look at this right here. This was your Y, and it said I. So your vowel team says I. See how this one was a Y? You added on your suffix ER, and it said E, carry is your base word, and it said E. So this vowel team, the IE, says E. Often it will do that, and you will keep the sound that your Y was carrying. So we have spy, okay, is your base word. Spy. You're going to change the Y to I and add ES. It becomes the vowel team, but it carries the sound that the Y had. Spies. Okay? Now, your tries. Okay? Try is your base word. We're going to change the Y to I and add your suffix ES. Okay? Now that becomes a vowel team, and you are saying the sound that the Y had. Tries. Okay, now let's break this word apart. Oh, double L's, boom. You know it breaks. So right down the middle. So we have C-O-L-L-I-E. Now if you have an I-E at the end of a word, I would say most of the time I would just leave it as its vowel team and put it as an E. But obviously we know it also says I, but start it out with an E. Collie. Okay, we've got that. We know what that is. Now let's try this word. Find our vowels. There's one consonant in the middle, so we're going to go C-O. It's going to go to the end, T-E, and we're going to find our vowel team over here. Now remember, the R is no longer, it's not a vowel R here because of that vowel. So it's going to go R-I-E. Okay, so that says coterie, coterie, coterie. Okay, so then you can just, if you don't even know the word, then you can like break it apart and see. Now, this is kind of a fun word. This says brise, but this is plural, and this says brie. So sometimes things like that will happen where it says E here, but it says I here. I would say not very often does that happen, but you can hear it. And see how IE says stide, says a long I sound. Look at this word. We're going to break this word apart. Okay, so let's find our vowels. Right there. Okay, and we're going to go F, I, E. Oh, two in the middle, two consonants in the middle, R, C, E. Fiercy. What is that? So, when you have a CE, this word says fierce. When you have a CE at the end and you have consonants here, that E right there is doing the job of keeping the C from saying, it's keeping the C saying S. So if you took it off, C's aren't allowed at the end of words unless it says ick. In a multi-syllable word, you can't have a C at the end of a word. So you have to have an E, and it makes it say S. Okay, so if we wanted an S at the end sound, and you put an S, that would mean more than one fear. Remember, S's are plural, and one S at the end of a word is plural. I know there are exceptions, but that's the basic rule. So this says ears. This is a one-syllable word, and it's a vowel team syllable. Okay, now look at this one. This is a base word, food. You have IE on lots of the end of words. Foodie. Siemens, okay? So Siemens, fierce, foodie. Look at this word. This is a big, huge word, but if you study your Greek combining forms, all of a sudden you go, oh, that word's easy because you have chiro and you have therapy. So we change the Y to I here, and we have your plural S. Now this, changing the Y to I, turned this into a vowel team, but you're keeping the E sound, therapy, and so that vowel team is saying peas, chirotherapies. Now look at this one. Fee, fi, fo, Fum. So that is on Jack and the Beanstalk. So look at this word. This says chiefly, E. But look at this ly. This ly has now changed. This noun, the chief, is acting chiefly. How is he acting? That ly is now saying, how is he acting? It changed that noun into an adverb. Okay? So look at this word. Well, it's going to break it apart. Double R's in the middle. So we're going to go M-A-R. Look, and let's just keep this vowel team together. Okay, so now we have, now remember what we talked about in our last lesson. If you see an A-R-R or an E-R-R, that's going to, this A-R is going to say air. Okay, so we're going to say mare, read. Now, this vowel team, like I want to marry Richard. It's my husband. So we changed, marry is your base word. We changed the Y to I, and it said E. So that is saying E when we added on our vowel suffix. Okay, married. That is a vowel team. So this says tear, one syllable word, beer, not as the kind you drink. This is KV, cozy. So this is a variation of the other spelling of cozy. Charlie. So lots of names that end with IE, but you have lots of names that end with a Y. My sister's name is Sandy, and she loved to say, oh, I think I want to spell it with a Y. No, I'm going to change it to an IE. So, you know, names will vary, but most of the time when you see Charlie, it's going to be an IE. So let's break this word apart and say leer. I'm not sure if that's right. Liar. See how that can break it apart. So if you don't know the word, break it up. Okay? So this says high, highs. Okay? High, highs for plural. Died. This says G, G's. Lean, fierce. We went over that over there. This says nudie. So this is a color. It is kind of a brownish, whitish color, and it's in lots of makeups and clothing. You'll see it in nylons. So that is when you see a color. So look at life right here. This doesn't, if this looks like maybe it could be a vowel team, but for this to be a vowel team, it has to be together. It can't have anything between it. So this is a silent E syllable, making that I say lie. Life. Okay? So now we have Aggie. I-E at the end, most of the time we'll say E. Folk E. Homey. Birdie. So look at this one. But this is a really fun word to decode. And once your children really start learning how to decode this, their reading will improve. So let's go ahead. We're going to find our vowels. And look, we have one consonant in the middle. So we're going to go P, A, and let's go ahead and keep this as a vowel team, the IE vowel team. T, because you don't know this word. That's what we're pretending. We don't know this word. So we're going to go, okay. Pay, teent, pay teent. That's never a word that I even heard of. So let's try it. And breaking up the vowel team. So T-I and then E-N-T. So let's see if we can read it this way. Pay, T-ent, pay-tient, or pay-to-ent. Well, I would read it as T-ent because I followed by a vowel says E, right? Pay-tient. I've never heard of that. So this is where it's really fun to teach your child. That TI is a digraph. If you have a TI followed by a vowel, you know that right there is going to say shh. And this will improve their reading in leaps and bounds when they know this right here. And so now we're going to read it. We're going to break it. And right here, look, we're gonna break this. This vowel right here, this is not a vowel. It's part of this digraph. So you find your vowels and you break it. So we have the digraph. We don't break our digraphs, right? So we break it over here, and so we're gonna go T-I-E-N-T. Now let's read it. It's going to say patient. Okay, so once you really get this part right here and your child is reading, this is one of my favorite things to teach a child when they're learning how to read. And you will see so much growth in your child. So anyways, we will hope to see you in the next video.